Good morning, Keagan.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good.
We are sitting here in Portland. We've got just under an hour before Keagan can move into his dormitory. So we thought we'd chat about what it took him to get to this point. So Keagan, why don't you give us a little bit of background as to your running, when it started, and what you've accomplished in the past year.
I started running the Healthy Kids series in elementary school. I kept on running through middle school, and then I ran freshman year, took a bit of a break sophomore year, and got back into it junior year. And then I was able to run fast enough senior year that I got a spot to run at the University of Portland, where we are today.
And if we dive a little bit deeper into your junior year, you didn't run cross country, but you did run track, but your focus wasn't on distance. Talk a little bit about that.
After sophomore year, I had the most fun running the 4x4. So I focused on the 400 and the 800 junior year. And I ran the 500 indoor. And it was a lot of fun. The workouts weren't any easier, but it was fun to run faster.
Right on. And then going into your senior year, like I said, you didn't run cross your junior year, but you came to me and said you wanted to run cross country. And what made you switch into getting more back into distance?
When I was training for the 800 junior year, because that was my best shot of making states, when I started doing more miles with the team, I realized I enjoyed it a lot, and it made me excited to run miles over the summer. And so I decided I was excited to do cross country, and I wanted to do it again.
Very good. And then so you started out with cross country. We went to a few good meets at the beginning of the season. What was your time at the beginning of the season, and what were you thinking? Were you even thinking of running in college at that point?
Yeah, running in college was always my goal. I never stopped thinking about running in college. My time was 16, something. I didn't really care about the time as much as the place. I think I got 20th. And I just remember it being pretty fun and being excited for the next race.
And at that point, were any colleges talking to you or recruiting you?
No, not necessarily. I mean, not any that I was interested in. We've always had contact with NC State because of you, but no colleges I was interested in other than that.
And how'd that feel? Were you frustrated, or were you just more motivated to work?
Well, I really didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't reach out to many at that point because I didn't really have many ideas other than NC State.
And as the season evolved and you got fitter and were racing better, did your mentality change a little bit about time, or did it stay focused on the place?
Yeah, cross-country courses, time's kind of irrelevant because the time will be different based on the day, too. So, yeah, no, I really never cared about the time. It was mostly just about going out there and running as hard as I could.
And the end of the season is typically our championship season. We have county, conference, regionals, states, and then either NXR or Foot Locker. going into the championship season, what was your focus? What was your goal?
I wanted to win state, and for Foot Locker, which I originally thought was my goal, I just wanted to run hard. I didn't really have any set goals. Just go out there, run hard, have fun, and see what I can do. At NXR, I had people I wanted to beat that I'd been racing all season, and I beat pretty much all of them except one.
Right on. Well, it's going back a little bit. You won the regional meet after Helene. Things got moved around. Going into states, how did you feel about your chances of winning?
I knew it would. I would have to get lucky, or something big would have to happen. But yeah, I also knew that I couldn't control that, and I just had to focus on myself. So the day of states, I didn't feel much pressure. I just knew I'm just going to do what I've done all season and see what happens. And that's what I did. I got it done. I got second. The other guy had a good day too, and we both did our best, and that's all you can do on the day. And so it was a good day.
Absolutely. It was a great race to watch because you sat in the top 10 up until about, what would you say, 3/4 of a mile to go?
Yeah.
And this was at Kernersville. Our state meet's always in Kernersville. And it was Ethan Rich, right, that made the move?
Yeah.
Was that a surprise when he made the move?
No, I was pretty much waiting for that the entire race.
And did you feel like you could have covered it when you look back on it, or do you think he made a really good move and it would have been hard to cover it no matter what?
I think he was going to beat me no matter what. As soon as I saw he went, I went too. And we basically went as hard as we could up the hills. And he moved a little bit faster up the hills. And from 1,000 meters to the finish line, we were both pretty much running as hard as we could. And he was faster than me on the day.
It was a great race. It really was. You ran really well, and to get second was fantastic. You had mentioned that your original intention was to run Foot Locker, but you decided to do NXR. What was the change? What changed your mind?
Well, I wanted to have a week between the 2-mile race I did and my postseason cross-country race. So that was why I was going to do Foot Locker. But I learned that it didn't really matter if you had a week between. And I really wanted to race Nike, race at a different course and race some people I knew. So I decided to race Nike, and then I was thinking about possibly doing Foot Locker after, but my foot didn't feel great after Nike, and I was happy with my race at Nike, so I called it a season after Nike.
Yeah, so we tossed in a 2-mile. A lot of people go to Dash for Doobie, but Ethan and his father told us about the race in Cary, the 2-mile there. And we could use that race to qualify for the indoor state meet. So talk a little bit about that. What was the goal of that 2-mile for you?
I think my time goal is to break 9:20, and I ran 9:21. That time goal was really just to it was a realistic pace I could go if I was by myself, which I wasn't, so it didn't really matter. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to race as hard as I could and see what place I could get. It was a good race. It was fun. The conditions were good, and the competition was good.
Did that give you confidence going into Nike?
I think the whole season and all the workouts we had done before that gave me the most confidence. I don't think anything specific was like something I thought back to as like, wow, I can do this. I think just without thinking about it, I had like subconsciously plenty of confidence going into Nike because of all the good races I'd had and good runs I've had throughout the season.
And you had been around some big races in the past, but when we were warming up the day before NXR at Cary, what was going through your mind? Did you feel pretty relaxed? Were you excited, nervous, all the above?
I was relaxed, I would say. I mean, I knew I was better than almost everybody there. Like, there's only like 20 kids that I could find that were faster than me, and there's 1,000 kids in that park. So, I mean, running around, I felt like I was somebody there. So it gave me a sense of like ease. I don't know, I just jogged around the day before looking at all these kids that are here for the same purpose, and just enjoying the course. It was like a 60-degree day. It was perfect, and just talking to some of my teammates. It was just fun the day before, I would say.
Nice. So race day comes and the gun goes off. What was your first mile?
My first mile, I think, was like 4:40.
So you go out really fast. What was going through your head as you went out that fast?
I didn't pay attention to it. Like, I mean, I went out by effort, and I went out 4:40 because it was downhill. I mean, that was a pretty normal first mile. So, like, I don't think I heard the time. I mean, I might have seen it, but I didn't think much of it because I felt good.
Where did that put you going out in 4:40? Where would you say you were in the pack? About what position?
I don't know, like 30th.
Okay, so 30th, and you felt like you should be top 20. So what happened in the second mile?
I didn't feel like I should be anywhere. Like, I was really just going to race hard and see what happened. I had no idea what place I was going to get. My goal was to try to break 15 in that race. So that was like my realistic splits, like 9:20 was. So when I came through 4:40, I was like, all right, that's good. So second mile, we ran up a hill out of the woods, and I just decided to not go with everybody sprinting up the hill. Like, I took the hill pretty moderate, like not hard like everybody else, because it was a 500-meter hill. It was long. So I got passed by a good amount of people there, but then at the top of the hill, I passed some people back, and then we got to a hill right before the 2-mile marker, and that's where I was like, all right, I got to start going now. And I ran hard up that hill, past some people, and then I got to the 2-mile marker, and I was a little bit behind pace, and I was like, all right, it's just all out to the finish now. And I ran past a good amount of people, and then I got to the people, and then I got to a point where I was running with people, and I was like, all right, this is really hard. This is, like, I'm not running past these people anymore. And I ran with them, and got to the last hill, and there's all the coaches screaming, you got this long to go. Come on, you go right now. Go. And I just, after on that hill, I started going hard at the bottom, and I passed a good amount of people. One guy passed me, and I got to the top of the hill and ran as hard as I could to the finish line. And I was dead at the top of the hill. Like, I coasted in. Like, it on the camera, it looked like I was like, I gave up, but that's just because, like, I couldn't move my legs after that hill. Because I think I had a good amount left at the bottom of the hill compared to some other kids that were fading.
And that put you 19th, right?
Yeah.
In 15-16?
15-15, yeah.
Yeah, 15-15. So you PR'd by about 50 seconds, which was obviously a huge PR. That changed things a little bit so far as as college scouts goes, why don't you talk a little bit about like what happened after that race?
I mean, the 15-15 sounds more impressive to some coaches who are looking for time. I don't know how much it changed anything. My state's performance, where I got second and ran 15:35 at Kernersville, was pretty equally up to par. Yeah, but the cross country season definitely helped with recruiting. Some coaches definitely paid attention, took notice, and said they'd be excited to see what I did on the track. Like, they were now paying attention to my track times.
Right. Because then we, right after Nike, you took your first official visit to Campbell. Talk a little bit about that experience, going on an official college visit. What was that like?
Well, it was different seeing a college campus and how the college teams operate. It was fun. Missing a little bit of school, I think. Yeah. I took a visit to App State soon after that too, and that was exciting. It was snowing, so that was fun.
Talk about the difference in the two visits, because Campbell, we really didn't get a chance to talk to the coach much, whereas in App, he spent the whole day with us. And then talk about like your experience, like getting to see the team or not seeing the team. Like, what were things that you wish on the visit you could have experienced more of?
Well, each visit was different to every school I've been to. At Campbell, like, they showed me a lot of the engineering program because they have a really good engineering program, and that was cool. And we talked to the dean, and that was really good. At App State, we spent the whole day with the coach pretty much, and he took us on a van to the trails they ran on, to the indoor track, to the weight room, and to the outdoor track. And that was good. We got to talk to the coach a lot. That was good, and we got to see all the resources App State had. And we even saw the dorms and some of the athletes. It was a good mix, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was helpful. And then at Portland, when I took my official visit much later, I pretty much hung out with the team the entire time. It was during graduation, so it was super busy. Yeah, and I pretty much got dropped off with the guys and just hung out with them and went through like a day in the life with them, and I think that was good too. I mean, I don't think any of the visits were bad. They're all just different.
Right on. Your indoor season after cross country was very abbreviated because of injury. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? What was that like? How did we get through indoor and still have you training?
Yeah, after cross season, I took a week off, and I was really excited to get back into running because I wasn't fully satisfied with how I did in cross season. Like, there's always something more you want. So I wanted to out-train these guys and get back into it and, like, discover or, like, flip over a new stone or something, like some way to get faster. And so I rushed back, like, took a week off, got back into training, and then I was running with my friend who likes to run fast, and we were running up in Bent Creek, which was half closed because of the hurricane. And so we had to run up this hill, like this really steep long hill, to get any sort of mileage in, and we ended up running up it twice. And because of that and some other things I was doing, like wearing 6mm shoes when I was used to like 12 from cross season, and just not knowing. And like running a little bit more on my forefoot, I hurt my Achilles, and that was the day where it like started burning after I ran, and I was like, I had trouble walking, and I was like, oh, this is not good. So after that, we took like a week off and we just cross trained, and I tried running again, and I was like, it's still not good. So we saw like a PT, and she gave us some exercises, some ideas, and so then we started cross training all the time and testing out running occasionally. And the cross training was really hard, but I got through it with a lot of YouTube. It was different, so that was fun. It was much easier to double because I didn't need to warm up or anything. I just wake up, go down there, do 30 minutes or 40 minutes in the morning, and then do like an hour 40 in the afternoon. So it was much easier to get volume in. It was very boring, though. It made me appreciate running much more.
Because we were down in Charleston, and right before we left, you had visited Rocky Hansen, who had an ARC trainer, and I had no idea what an ARC trainer was, and then you told me, they cost about $5,000. So we looked on Facebook Marketplace and found one in South Carolina for $250, a used one. So we got back from Charleston and grabbed the trailer and drove down to South Carolina, got this ARC trainer. Talk about the ARC trainer and your relationship with the ARC trainer.
I mean, it's a good tool. It's not nearly as fun as running, but it helped me through the winter when I was injured. I've done a good amount of runs on that ARC trainer. I don't love it because it's not nearly as fun as running, and because running is a good amount of my social time in high school when my life is like running and studying or running in school, like some days after school. And because I was injured, it would just be, I would hang out with the guys for like 15 minutes after school before they start running. And then I'd go home, go on the ARC trainer for like 2 hours. And then I'd study and go to sleep and then go back to school in the morning. So because of that, it's not my favorite thing. But it's pretty good. It gets the job done. Like, yeah. I was able to do like 70 miles a week of, if it were running, ARC training.
Definitely. We did a ton of threshold work just because it was indoor. We didn't do any real max VO2 stuff. That would have been tough on the ARC trainer anyway. But
we used the elliptical before they had the ARC trainer too.
Yeah. And
I did most of my workouts, like most of my threshold stuff, on the elliptical because it's easier to get the heart rate up. And yeah, those are some hard workouts. Like, yeah, those workouts were pretty much as hard as running workouts. I mean, yeah, they're rough. Just staring at a wall. The music on my phone definitely helped me get through those.
And you had already qualified for the indoor state meet thanks to that 2 mile that you had run prior to NXR. So we were going to run states, but it was like 2 weeks before, right? About 2 weeks before we really got to actually do a running workout. Am I thinking correctly?
No, it was like a week before.
Was it a week before? Okay.
Yeah, it was the week before, and then we did one more the Tuesday before.
Right. So your Achilles was not perfect, but it was decent enough to get some running workouts in.
To train like Parker Valby for a week.
Yeah. We kept you in your super shoes so we didn't spike up just because we were worried about the Achilles. So we were trying everything we could just to get you on the line so you could race states, which I think we did a pretty decent job. Obviously the run fitness wasn't ideal to run states, but we got you to the line and you got to race, thankfully. So talk a little bit about that. Talk about the state meet and What were your thoughts going into that? How did you feel?
State meet. I dreamed about it for like a long time. When I would be on the ARC trainer, I just daydream a lot, and I daydreamed about states a ton on the ARC trainer. So I was very excited to run and just see what I can do. I wasn't too nervous, more just excited to race. We did a what was it, a 5 mile tempo?
Yeah, we
or
did.
25-minute tempo on the track.
It ended up being close to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was confidence boosting because that was really good. That felt really good. I ran pretty fast, and it didn't feel too hard. So yeah, I had confidence from that run because I didn't really have anything else to look back to for confidence. Because after my injury, because I didn't really know where I was until then, so I had confidence from that, and I was excited to go race again. Were my thoughts, and the race went okay. I wasn't as fit, I wasn't in shape like I would have liked to have been. So it was an okay race, but after the race, I realized it was fun just to be back out there. Like, I don't look back on it like that was a terrible race. I mean, I look back on it like I had a fun day that day. Like, got back into running, got a chance to run and hang out with my friends at a meet again. Nice. So
yeah, that your time from the 2 mile and cross country also qualify you for the New Balance Nationals. So we got to go up to Boston. That was probably one of the neatest meets that I've been to in a while. Talk about the atmosphere there and the location and watching Quincy race and all that stuff. What was that like?
Well, it was unlike any meet I'd been to because it had so much more money than any meet I've been to. The track facility was really cool. I don't know how many track facilities I've been that have been designated just for track, Yeah. Whenever you get to go to one of those, it's great. It was a really cool event, like from check-in to the race. Everything was super professional and really cool and near downtown Boston with big buildings all around the track. It was really cool. The actual track itself was pretty sick. Everywhere around the track was rubberized, and there was always music playing, and an announcer and a big screen, and the track was on hydraulics, so it could go up and down, and it was pretty bouncy. It's a pretty fast track. And I watched so many YouTube videos of so many fast people running on that track before, so it was a really exciting experience. And then the race came, and I ran. I didn't have a great mentality because after I wasn't doing great, I kind of checked out a little bit. So I learned a little bit about mentality from that race. But
talk a little bit about that. What did you learn?
I learned you shouldn't be so worried about what place you're gonna get in the race. Like focusing on winning this race, that's the outcome you want, your goal for the race, and if you don't get that, then you kind of check out. It should be more about the things that you can control, like your thought process during the race, just thinking about the things that you can do to race your best, so you're always in the race and you're not worrying about things you can't control. That's also helped with pre-meet, when you're not thinking before the race, all right, I gotta win this race, and on repeat in your mind. It's more you're thinking about what do I need to do to get ready for this race? What are the steps? Just in the race when you're all right, what do I need to do this lap? Or focusing on the moment instead of being I gotta win. I took that from that race.
And that was the week of spring break, so we not only went to New Balance, but the next weekend we drove to Virginia Beach. So you had two big races to go the next weekend to the Adidas Indoor Nationals. The previous year you had done some relays and the 800. This year you were doing the 2 mile, and you didn't have as many teammates around you. Was it a similar experience or was it different? How did you feel about that?
It was different. The year before, we just had a lot of fun as a team. We went out till like 2 a.m. just walking around the pier and stuff. The night before, I raced fine, and we were just enjoying it and trying our best. It was fun both years for different reasons. This year, it was just my parents, my grandparents, my sister, and a couple of my teammates. But most of us were focused on our races. And yeah, it was fun to go out there and compete at a big event and run around Virginia Beach for a couple days and then run on that track where the NCAA championships had been a week before. It was pretty fun. And then, just go execute my own race, which I did much better at Virginia Beach because I pretty much did my own thing, which helped a lot. I ran much faster. It was a good race, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
So wrapping up your indoor season, what was communication with the college coaches like at this point? Were you communicating by phone conversations, text messages, emails, and what was the thought process? Where were you with these colleges? Following up on Campbell and App State and NC State, and when did Portland come into the picture?
I emailed Portland for the first time at New Balance Nationals while we were in Boston. And he said, "Great, I'll give you a call. Or let me know what time works for a call." And I didn't get back to him right away because I didn't see it right away. Because I think I emailed him the day of the race, like before the race or something. And I didn't get back to him right away, so we didn't end up calling that day. It was actually like a week later or something, much later, that we called for the first time. I decided not to go to Campbell after the visit. App State was probably my front runner at the time for a good while, and then I was always talking to NC State, but App State was probably my front runner for a good bit.
The interesting this year was that these roster restrictions started coming into the picture. So talk about the roster restrictions and how that affected your ability to commit to universities, specifically NC State.
Yeah, roster limits pretty much eliminated walk-ons. So it's much harder to just make a roster. So that was the biggest holdup at NC State. And communication actually got worse, I would say, in indoor because I wasn't performing as well as I had in cross season. With some schools, yeah, roster limits affected my decision with NC State, my communication, because they just didn't know if they had a spot. They would probably have to cut some people to make room.
Right. So, and that kept putting you in a holding pattern for NC State. With App State, you were just kind of holding out for NC State, correct?
Yeah, and I knew it would be NC State wouldn't be super likely, so I knew I was probably gonna end up going to App State, which I really liked. Just because NC State, they didn't know if they're going to take any more recruits.
Because they had signed, 3 very early on in cross-country season, right?
They signed 2 as juniors and 1 at the end of cross season. the 4A state champ. After the state championship, they signed one more, and so they were looking. So they didn't know if they were going to take anyone else, and I was willing to wait and hear their offer before I committed to App State. Was pretty much my thought process.
And did you communicate that to App State, what you were thinking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I told them I just needed to wait to hear back from NC State.
Were they seemed to be okay with that?
Seemed to be, yes.
Yeah.
We kept on texting, and we had a few calls between the time after the visit and after the visit.
Now, the other thing that's affected these roster restrictions is also the transfer portal. Can you speak a little bit about the transfer portal and how that's been affecting schools and their roster limits?
Well, some schools... Well, if you're a recruit, you're competing against the people in the transfer portal. Like, schools will take it into, like, perspective who has more upside and value and what they're looking for at the time. If a school's rebuilding, they might be more likely to look at a recruit with more upside. But you are competing against the transfer portal because NC State told me a couple times we don't know if we're going to take another recruit, and that they're looking at a few transfers. And so,
right on. So you kept communicating and letting them know where you were at, all schools. We got into outdoor track, and pretty early on in the season, you went to the distance carnival. Talk about the distance carnival and what happened there.
The distance carnival, that was a good race. Raced the 2 mile. That was after a good amount of races in outdoor.
Well, okay, let's build us up to the distance carnival. Talk a little bit about like what you did leading up to that, and then talk a little bit about the event itself.
After Adidas Nationals, we ran at All-American Track Classic, I think, or was it App State first?
Both. Well, it was the first was the All-American, and then we went to Boone. So you did the 2 mile at All-American,
okay.
And then the mile. Go ahead.
Yeah, so after Adidas Nationals, we did the 2 mile All-American, and that was another fun atmosphere. That was a great meet. It was at this big track with a big stadium that was also for football in South Carolina, and it brought all sorts of competition. There was a good 2 mile under the lights. There was the championship 2 mile was under the lights later, and that was a really fun race. I ran against a lot of fast runners, and I raced solid. I closed really hard, and that gave me confidence in my speed. So I think the week after that we ran an 800, and then or we ran a mile at App State, and then that was okay. That didn't give me a lot of confidence, but I think it was good to run a mile, get a mile in.
Yeah.
And then I had a good workout after that. And then I think I ran an 800. Maybe not, no. And then I think we had a week between the App State meet and Distance Carnival where I did a good progression run on Saturday. And then the next Saturday was Distance Carnival, where I had my best race of the season. Raced the championship 2 mile under the lights again, and racing under the lights is always fun. We had two pacers, and a great atmosphere, like a newly resurfaced track of like a week, and it was really fun. I warmed up and just saw all the guys I'd been racing against and was friends with. So it was really fun, relaxed atmosphere. And we got in our corral, and everybody was just talking because everybody knew each other. And then we talked to the race officials, and they told us the race was going out in like 4:24 was the goal, and everybody had like a bit of a reaction to that, but it was okay. It was okay to me because I knew I was just going to do my own thing, no matter what. And then we go to the 100-meter start line and then run down the track and high five everybody as the announcer announces us to get to the start line, which was awesome. The race starts, and the pace is really hot. It strings out pretty much immediately, but I mean, it felt like we were flying because I'd never raced a 2-mile that fast before, but it felt really good just because everybody's running in like single file order, just looking at each other's back. And I just gotten a new pair of spikes, and I felt very good. The air was like the temperatures were ideal. The track was good, and so yeah, it felt great. The first 4 laps we came through like sub 4:30, and it felt easy. And then after that, like the pace never really slowed. Like everybody kept on it pretty much the 5th lap, and then 6th lap I moved up a little bit because it started getting hard and people started fading a little bit. And then 800 to go, I made a move and passed a good amount of people. And then 400 meters to go, I mean, just ran as hard as I could to 200 meters and held as much as I could with 200 meters to go to the finish line, and ended up running 9:06 and being very happy. That was my first PR since that meet at that 2-mile at the end of cross country season. So it was a good day. It was very fun.
15 seconds faster, which is a huge PR. So, yeah, like you said, you were very happy. Of course, I was very happy. We were very, very pleased with the result. It was soon thereafter that you had already spoken to Portland on the phone a few times, right, at this point?
Yeah, one time. Yeah, and then we talked to him for the second time with you guys.
Right, as a family. And you got to share the news that you had just run 9:06. Why don't you tell everyone how that kind of changed your conversation with Portland?
Well, he told me that I would have to run 9:0 to be considered for a scholarship, and I told him my PR already, and he's like, "Oh, okay, what did you run?" And I said 9:06. He's like, "Oh, well, that changes things." Something to that effect. So that was cool.
Yes, it was cool. Did at this point your conversations with Coach Connor, who's the coach here at University of Portland, were you starting to become a little bit more receptive to the idea of coming out here for school?
I'd always heavily considered it. Even when I first looked into the school and hadn't talked to the coach at all yet, I was like, I could go here because it just aligns with what I wanted.
We'll talk a little bit about that. Like, how did you find the University of Portland?
On YouTube, from their 2019 NCAA championships cross country YouTube video.
What place did they finish there?
They got second, and so I was like, all right, wow, it's impressive. I'll send them an email. And so yeah, I sent him an email. I said I'll look into it. So I looked into it. I saw they had mechanical engineering and a minor in exercise science, and I was like, all right, this could be good. So I applied, and I got in, and I got a scholarship, and I was like, I guess I could go here. I got an academic scholarship, and then I eventually called the coach, and I told him after the first call, I was like, well, you are my favorite coach I've talked to so far.
Well, talk a little bit about Coach Connor. Like, what makes him, one of your favorites that you talk to? What do you like about him?
Well, he's personable. He cares about the person, not as much about the team success. Like, he's very interested in knowing the person and having them run well. And that's what he told me on the call, and I was like, that sounds great.
Right. And out here, one of the things you don't have to deal with so far is the roster restrictions, correct?
Yep.
Talk about the team here, size of it, and kind of the training groups and all that.
Well, there's 50 people on the team and there's about 5 different training groups from the YouTube videos I've watched. It seems cool. Let's see how it is. I'm excited to run with the team.
And how many freshmen are coming in?
Like 6 and a transfer.
Right on. 2 you've got
2 transfers at least.
And we came here early in the summer, and Coach Connor told us that you don't really have to worry about your freshman year, right? Talk about like what his expectations are for you for your freshman year.
Well, he said we got such a big team, we don't really expect you to be we don't need you to be scoring for us or helping the team initially. We just need you to develop. We just want you to develop. They don't need to force you into racing when you're not ready.
Right, which is cool. I think that's a great way to look at it, since you come from a lower mileage program to help develop you. This team, why don't you talk about a few of the guys that have come out of this program?
Recently, Matt Strangio,
who was
just graduated, he won the West Regional 5K last year and got 22nd at NCAA cross country championships.
What place was he at NCAAs? Do you remember? For 5K?
I don't remember specifically.
It's okay.
Top 10.
Okay.
And then Woody Kincaid, most notably, a few years ago now.
Yeah. So this program has produced some great athletes. So we were having great conversations with Coach Rob, but at that point, after the distance carnival, NC State and App State were still in the picture, correct?
Yeah.
And this is about April. So the signing deadline for NCAA was in May. So as May approached, and you're trying to make your decision, what was going on with the universities at that point? What was NC State telling you?
NC State was still telling me the same thing, that they didn't know. Eventually I made up my mind that I wanted to go to Portland or NC State. And then eventually I made up my mind that I wanted to go to Portland. So it was kind of process of elimination.
Right. So in May, we kind of went beyond the deadline, though, right? We had to ask for some extensions because you were still trying to make that decision.
Yeah, the deadline is not really a deadline. It's set there because of scholarships or something. It's not an official thing, so we found that out. We found that out when I asked Rob about it, and he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about that."
And Rob is Coach Connor, by the way. So let's talk a little bit about the end of your track season. Made it to states in the 2 mile, right? We decided to run the 4x8 and the 2 mile.
Yep.
You had a strong leg in the 4x8, which was great. Did you feel that took anything out of you for the 2 mile, which was later in the day?
No, I think I was good in both.
Okay.
There was a good amount of time between the 4x8 and 2 mile, and I really wanted to run the 4x8 with my team one last time.
Nice. And the 2 mile later in the day ended up being a pretty hot temperature, so we said let's be a little bit more conservative with the pace up front. But someone took the race out, and you stayed, rightly so, a little bit further back. So how did the race unfold, and how did you feel about it?
The first laps, we just got everybody kind of fought for position a little bit, and then someone took the lead and put a gap on the field pretty fast, and so I went to second to try to close the gap for a little bit, and then eventually some people passed me to try to close the gap, and then with 2 laps to go, everybody was running hard to try to close the gap, and then 400 meters to go. After 400 meters to go, I passed some people back, and everybody pretty much ran all out to try to catch the guy. And 4 of us ended up catching him, and I ended up getting third behind 2 guys. And the race closed super fast. It closed in 60 for first place, 64 for second, and 65 for me. So it was a good race.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah. And the 9:06 that you ran at Distance Carnival, it got to put you into some fun meets at the end of the season. Why don't you give us some highlights from after state meet? What were some of your thoughts and favorite memories from things you did post state meet?
I ran Nike.
Yep.
Did I run another meet?
Yeah, the fast lane.
Yeah, running lane.
Running lane, excuse me.
Yeah, running lane was fun. It was a good atmosphere.
In Alabama.
Yeah. Very fast heats. And there was fireworks, like sparklers every lap. And pace lights. It was cool. I was towards the back of that pack just because how the heats laid out. I think I was like the last person to make that heat. So I was hanging on for life. And that race was okay. It was fun still. And then I raced the mile the next day. I raced the 2 mile the first day at night, and then the mile the next day. And I was in a much earlier heat because my mile time wasn't quite as fast because I only ran it one time. And I PR'd. I won my heat. It was a fun time. And then I got to watch the elite heat after. And that was very fun. Everybody was like sprinting from each side of the track to watch the guys run by as much as they could, and it was great. They broke 4.
Yep, that was cool.
It was really cool.
And it was that weekend that you decided to commit to Portland, right?
Yeah, it was before the 2 mile. That was my last week of school too. Yeah, it was in the hotel. The day before the 2 mile that I decided to commit to Portland. We got on the intercom at Dick's Sporting Goods because we were hanging out there for a little bit before the race, and my dad said I was committing to Portland, and I sent the video to Rob. That's how I did it.
Right. So we got on the speaker over Dick's and made your commitment announcement, and then sent that to Coach Connor, which was fun. How was Coach Connor's reaction?
He just texted back "boom" with an exclamation mark.
So how did that feel to have that decision made?
It felt good. I mean, I was still worried about the race.
Of course, right? Yeah. And then we got to go out to the University of Oregon, which is kind of like the mecca for us for track. You've got to experience these tracks. What was Oregon like in comparison to some of the other places we've been?
Much more money.
In what way?
The stadium was huge and it had amenities you really didn't need. It was really cool. It was like a football stadium for track, so
yeah.
That was awesome. And just the campus of Oregon was really cool, with like Priest Trail and everything.
Yeah,
it was fun to go hang out there in Eugene.
Absolutely. So that's 2 hours down the road here from Portland. And like I said, you're about to move into your dormitory. Any final thoughts on the college process, or your thoughts about moving forward into college?
Well, I mean, I'm just excited right now. See how it goes. I'm excited to run with the team and a good coach, and just see what I can do and have fun. Go to some big meets, and also study on the side.
Get a little bit of studying done, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so proud of you, Keagan. Congratulations. Mom and I can't wait to see what happens, and we'll keep everybody posted as he moves through his college career. Thanks for talking with me, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
Love you.